Hello, it's Dave here from DaveMenzies.com. Over the years, I've been gradually building up my accessories, I guess, video and particularly audio accessories to improve the quality of the videos that I do, both actually for music recording and video recording, sound and vision, and both as a musician and as an internet entrepreneur. So I do a lot of video in the course of my business. So it's just become obvious as I started out from using a phone to what I use now, which is a DSLR and a professional field recording device. And I just want to talk you through the sort of various options. Somebody I know was asking me about this recently, so I just thought I'd do a little video about that. So if that sounds good, stay tuned and we'll just get started. So like most people, I started with a phone, doing videos with just a mobile phone. I've actually got a really ancient iPhone 4. Planning to upgrade fairly soon, but it's not bad. It's got a decent camera in it. Sound is pretty bad. What lets these smartphones down, and even these little sort of sports GoPro style cameras that don't have a separate input for microphones, what lets them down is these little inbuilt speakers that are in them, especially if you're recording outside and there's wind noise and any other kind of noise. That's what kind of lets them down. So the first thing you can do to sort of improve that is to look at getting yourself a little tie clip microphone, which is just something like this. One I'm using currently. This is not even a particularly well-known brand. This was a sort of £20. It's called a Boya tie clip mic. So on one end you've got a little tie clip microphone, which just clips onto your shirt or your lapel if you're wearing a jacket, wherever, somewhere out of sight, close to your mouth, so it's getting the sound from closer to its source, and that's just got a little stereo mini jack that can go into, if you've got a later iPhone or some of the later more modern Android phones, you might be able to just pop that straight into the headphone socket. More commonly though, you need to get a little thing like this, which is a splitter. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little cable, but it kind of separates the signal into a microphone input and a headphone output. So if your phone is compatible with that, and you'll just need to Google that and check, or look at the phone manual or something just to see if that's possible. If it is, these little cables are just a few pounds from Amazon. So that goes into the phone, and your microphone goes into the appropriate socket for that, and you're good to go. And that gives you a vast improvement already, because the sound, like I say, is coming from closer to your source. There's nothing worse than, like, the thing that frustrates me is when people have got a phone and they record a concert or something. It used to happen to our band, and somebody would put that on Facebook, and it just sounds terrible. So they're good if you're sort of, say, shooting indoors or in a car or something where there's not a lot of external sound. They're pretty good, but to vastly improve it, go for that little tie clip microphone. It's only like 20 quid. Something like that, and another few pounds for a little adapter if you need one. So that gives you a vast improvement already. The next thing to do though is to actually separate the audio and the video completely, and just use devices that are dedicated for either video or sound, and then match them up in a video editor. What I use for video now is the camera I'm using at the moment, which is a Canon EOS 7D, which is quite an expensive professional camera. I do a lot of photography as well as using it for video for my business. So it was an investment I made a few years ago that has paid itself off many, many times over. That does have a separate input for a microphone, so I can put the tie clip straight into that. Again, it's pretty good quality sound, but it's not perfect. So what I do now is I go into an external device, a Tascam field recording device, which I'll talk about in a minute. But before that, I went for something a lot cheaper. It was just one of these little Sony digital recorders, kind of like a dictaphone kind of thing, and it only records sound. Obviously doesn't have a camera or anything in it, so it's dedicated just for sound. And Sony are actually one of the better brands for sound equipment. Used to use them a lot as an audiovisual technician back in the day. So that'll take it's got its own inbuilt microphone, which is sort of adequate if you're using it like a dictaphone where you're just trying to get a record of something and you're not that fussed about the quality. The microphone is adequate, but it's not great. This one, however, does have an external input for a microphone. So again, that little tie clip mic can go in there. And that actually does give you some pretty good results. You can pick one of these up for about 30 quid. So you're just looking at an investment for the microphone and that of maybe £50 to vastly improve the quality of what you're doing. Well worth it. So I did that for a while and I still use that occasionally. It's just really handy. You don't have to worry about having great big long cables going into your camera. It could just go into this and that can just sit in the top pocket or your back pocket or something. Start it up, start the camera. Just do a hand clap like that when you start, and then when you put both files into your editing software, you'll see those two spikes, which are the hand claps, and you just need to drag them together till they match up, and that's everything synchronized and you're good to go. Well worth it. A little bit extra work, but well worth it. So the next stage up from that is to go for something a bit more professional. And this is the Tascam DR60, which is what I use now for all of my recordings. I'm actually recording this into that with this microphone. The thing with things like these kind of professional recording devices is they offer you lots of flexibility. This has got three different inputs. One's a stereo jack, which again will take the tie clip microphone mini jack in there. It's also got two multi-purpose sockets, which will take a standard microphone cable, so you can use any microphone at all with that. And you can also put a guitar jack or an instrument jack in there if you're doing music recording. This will actually record all of those channels simultaneously. It also has built into it a thing called phantom power, which you need. You're using a microphone like this, which is a professional, very sensitive microphone that needs external power. Phantom power, 48 volts, and that is supplied by this device. The other thing it has, amongst many other features, some of which I haven't even used yet, it's got a limiter built into it. So if you're using a microphone like this and you maybe say something too loud, for example, you get a nasty distortion, which in digital recording is something you want to avoid at all costs. It's just horrible. And this has a little limiter built in. You can set to whatever level, and if you go over that level, it will just clamp down on it automatically, and it's quite unobtrusive. It does it quite softly, so you don't really notice it doing it, which is really useful. The other thing it does is it records a backup if you want to at lower volume. So if you've got a horribly distorted track that you've recorded, the levels are all over the place, you can set that up so that it will record one quieter, so all is not lost. Particularly good if you're out doing video for someone else that you're getting paid for. And that happens, the game's not over. You don't have to go and do the shoot again, which is great. So that was about £200, which may seem a lot, but it's a hell of a lot of kit for the money. It's actually designed to work with DSLRs for doing video recording. So it's got a tripod jack on the bottom and one on the top. So you can put that on the tripod and then the camera on top of that. So your whole setup is all on top of the tripod. Superb. One thing I'll say about these though, they eat batteries. So this takes 6 AA batteries and it will use them in about an hour. So the other thing I've invested in is an external power bank, which again I'm using at the moment to power that. This is one of these things, you've probably seen these. You can use them to charge up iPads or phones or anything when you're on the move. You just charge this up on the mains once, and it's just a great big battery to provide power for USB powered devices or to charge up devices that have a USB input. So that's my main setup now: the Canon camera, the DR60, and the power bank with whatever microphone. If I'm in the house or in the home studio, I use whatever microphones I've got. I've got a Rode camera top microphone, mini jack. Again, that could go into the camera, but I prefer to put it into the DR60. I've got this microphone, which is actually for recording vocals, professional vocals or acoustic guitar, just very sensitive microphone. Or just an ordinary microphone like this Shure SFM58, which is a kind of industry standard do anything microphone. But if you're using a recorder like this, it gives you that flexibility. Use whatever microphone you've got handy, and they're all good for different things. The next option you can do is to use a USB powered microphone, which just goes straight into your laptop. This is a Blue Snowball. Again, not that expensive. I think 35 to 40 pounds thereabouts, depending where you get it. And like just a USB connection on the end of it. Just pop that into the laptop. Your editing software will recognize it immediately, and you just straight in. So again, that saves you having to match up the audio because it's all going in at the same time, but very high quality. Next stage above that is to get an input device like this. This is a Focusrite, about £200. But again, as a musician, I use this to record a lot of music, but I can also use it. Again, it's a USB straight into the laptop, recognised by GarageBand, music software, any video editing software, anything at all. And again, same as the DR60, it will take any microphone at all and gives you all sorts of different levels of control over those microphones. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of various options. It kind of depends what sort of videos you want to do, where you're shooting them, how much control you've got over the external sound, and obviously what your budget is. But if you're doing it for business as I am, I think it's really well worth investing some of the profits from your business into improving the quality of your output, of your content, particularly on the internet. So I'll put a link at the end of this if you want to subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more tips and tutorials on all this kind of stuff, and on internet entrepreneurship. So I hope you find it useful. Thanks for giving me your time, and hopefully I'll see you again. Cheers for now. Dave Menzies at davemenzies.com. Bye-bye.